This is for our Unit 5 Chem project, featuring Nikki, Maddie, and Haiti. Haiti's in Mexico, so we still wanted her to be included.
Unit 1.
There are 4 types of properties you need to know in Unit 1. Physical properties, chemical properties, intensive properties, and extensive properties. Physical properties are observed without changing a substance into another substance, such as boiling point. Chemical are only observed when the substance is changed into a new one, such as flammability and corrosiveness. Intensive properties are things like density, boiling point, and color, and extensive have to do with mass, volume, and energy. There are other things you need to know for Unit 1, such as the volume and shape of solid, liquid, and gas. Solids, both volume and shape are definite. Gas is the opposite, both are indefinite. Liquid has a definite volume and an indefinite shape. That's all for Unit 1.
One of the things I struggled with in this class was trying to stay on pace and also getting used to the layout of the class since podcasts and Moodles were so new to me. One of the easiest things about this unit is being able to do things on your own time because I can do podcasts at home.
Unit 2. There are 3 types of radiation: alpha, beta, gamma. Memorize those and their charges. Half-lives. Make yourself a chart and always remember that the percentage of daughter and the percentage of parent will always add up to 100. This was the hardest part of the unit for me.
Half-lives were the hardest part of the unit for me because I'm not very well suited in math, and there's a lot of math.
The easiest part of this unit was alpha, beta, gamma because their charges were very simple and you used them throughout the unit, so it was very easy.
Unit 3.
Memorize your 3 bonds. Ionic, which is 1 metal and non-metal. Covalent, which is 2 non-metals. Metallic, which is 2 metals. Another important part of Unit 3 is the valence electrons following the octet rule. The octet rule says that the full valence electron shell consists of 8 valence electrons. Only the s and p orbital follow with the octet rule. Covalent bonds are able to be shared in order to obtain the full shell, whereas ionic bonds are transferred. The hardest part of this unit for me was the full valence electron shell and the Lewis dot structures because you would have to draw them out and figure out which ones could be shared and which ones could be paired. The easiest part of the unit was determining if the bond was ionic, covalent, or metallic because you could look on your periodic table, see which column it was it fit in, and then determine if it was a non-metal, metal, or both.
Unit 4.
First, you have to remember your prefixes. But most importantly, you have to remember your polyatomic ions. In the wise words of the chem teachers, there's no easy way to remember them. You just have to do it. It doesn't stop there. If your polyatomic ion has an oxygen in it, there's 3 things you need to know. If you're subtracting oxygens, and if you're adding an oxygen.
The hardest part about Unit 4 were the polyatomic ions. They were the hardest because there's no patterns with the ions, so there's no way to make up a memory trick for them. The easiest part about Unit 4 were the prefixes. The prefixes were the easiest because most of us knew the prefixes before we had learned them. For example, tri is 3 and deca is 10.
Unit 5.
In this unit, you'll be using dimensional analysis for most of your calculations. There's a few important things you need to know, such as the magic word,
Mole, 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 mole.
mole, which is a unit of measurement of very small things, such as particles or atoms. You also need to know the magic numbers, like for liters, it's 22.4, and for particles or molecules or whatever small things you're measuring in, it's 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd. If you're calculating for grams, you need to use your periodic table for that specific element. You'll also have to find empirical and molecular formulas. They're basically the same thing, except molecular formulas have a few more steps. Convert grams to mass for each element. Convert grams to moles. Divide all of the moles by the smallest. If needed, multiply all the ratios by 2, 3, or 4 to convert to whole numbers. If you're just solving for empirical formulas, stop here. You're all done. Divide the molecular mass by the empirical mass. Multiply the empirical formula by the result. Boom! You're done. One of the hardest things in this unit was all the math and calculations, like dimensional analysis we had to do, because I'm not good at math and it's not my strong suit, and I know a lot of people are the same in that way. One of the things we thought was easiest in this unit was that we had to use polyatomic ions a lot, and we already had those memorized from Unit 4.
In this semester, the things that we struggled with the most were staying on pace.
This is hard because you have to balance all of your classes together, and Chem has new assignments almost every day. One of the easiest things about this semester was having the partial independence that this class gives you.
And also being able to go to any of the Chem teachers and ask them for help at any time. These are important things you have to remember from each unit. And don't forget your polyatomic ions.
Thanks for watching.